let's see. Well, the teams that really upgraded, as far as coming, I can't take that man seriously when he's talking about coming out of the darkness.
The darkness.
Just shut up, dude. Just shut up. God, I really want to bet the under, but they just have too much talent. They have too much talent.
They do have too much talent.
As long as 12 is going to be out there, yeah, they're probably going to get to 10 wins. So I can't really make a recommendation.
But real quick, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if the market is appropriately reacting to Aaron Rodgers and it's just a bunch of no plays? Like, is that okay to do here? Because I know, like, we and a bunch of other shows are going to talk about the Jets ad nauseum up through September. And as I look at some of the numbers, I go, this is pretty sharp. I don't really see an edge either way. And that's kind of where I stand with all of this.
Yeah. I'd like to bet it. I'd like to have some action on it. But I don't really see an edge. I don't really see it. Unless we get into some awards markets at another time. I mean, they won both Rookie of the Years last year. They could be set up to get another one this upcoming season, but I think it's fair. And there's a 3-game stretch of home games, and 2 of those games are Atlanta and Houston. It looks like the season is closing soft with Washington. New England could be bad. We don't know about Cleveland. Yes, it could be a challenging beginning, of course, with Buffalo and Kansas City in there. Philadelphia in week number 6 has its ups and downs, but I can't. I would like to. I'm not going to lay the minus 130 on the over. I'm not doing that. They're just a no play for. Yeah, we should, because that's the biggest story in the NFL. I guess we go around it. What are we doing, if anything, with the Jets? I'm not doing anything.
Because even division, plus 250, I can't do that either. I thought the same thing. I'm looking for a way to find some value on the Jets, and there just isn't any for me. I'm just going to stay away at this point. Even the 9.5 is a lot. I mean, I think they'll go over it, but there's no value in betting the over.
How about, okay. As strong as the AFC is with all the quarterbacks in that conference, is it possible for them to miss the playoffs? I mean, I guess it's possible. It's plus money. It's just not enough of a price. It's plus 132 to miss the playoffs.
Yeah. No.
I will say this. I mean, we talk about live betting a lot. Like, what if they stumble out of the gate? Like, week 1, that's a losable game there. And what if they lose badly and people overreact and say that Aaron Rodgers is washed? Maybe that's when you pounce on division, making the playoffs, all of that stuff. But we need to get through that first week.
100%. And with Rodgers, we should also mention the deep threat in Lazard is going to be there. And it's like an addition if he is healthy at the start of the season. Let's not forget what Breece Hall was before his injury last year. So, and then they also had in free agency Whitehead, who's really good safety for Tampa Bay to play with Sauce. It's like there are a number of upgrades you have to like. It's hard to fade them.
But also, I mean, worst case scenario, Breece Hall's a little rusty, coming off that injury. There could be a slow start scenario here, mostly banking on injuries and unfortunate things happening. But yeah, I mean, it is possible that Rodgers looks old and washed. Breece Hall isn't bouncing back quick enough.
Yeah.
Or, Garrett Wilson, like, okay, it was a 1-year thing and, it's a sophomore slump. There are all sorts of things you can kind of point
kinds
to
of what
say.
ifs. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's why, this is a stay away for me. Just like what Joe said, it's a stay away for me until we get through that first week. And then I'm probably fading the public in some way, shape, some way. And that's kind of where I am with all of it.
Absolutely. All right, here's one that does jump out to me. You want to talk about change? Is there going to be a more impactful change? Maybe Rodgers is the one, but the other one that's kind of in that same stratosphere, I would say, is the head coach / play caller, Sean Payton. in Denver, Colorado. And the Broncos win total is 8.5, juice to the under. So you're going from probably head coach 32 in the league to at least the top 10 guy. It was a long time ago, but a Super Bowl winning coach. And I don't think he's lost his fastball. Who knows? He may be completely rejuvenated as well. And the tone that was set by Peyton, I know you shouldn't go too much into press conferences and take leaps with that, but I will a little bit. It's going to be a different atmosphere there. Russell Wilson's not going to do whatever he wants. It's not going to be people tiptoeing around Russ anymore. And we got some signal on what kind of offense Peyton is going to run. For a while, it's like, oh, you add Russ, let him cook, and you have those receivers that have these higher expectations that just, never turned into anything. Nah, I think it's going to be more of a running game. He fixed that offensive line immediately. They bring in McGlinchey. They bring in Ben Powers to play left guard. So I think that's going to be more of a focus. It's not going to be about letting Russ cook anymore. But I trust Sean Payton. And can they go 9-8 on the season? Look, there are some rough patches. When you're in a division with the Kansas City Chiefs and you're playing them twice in 3 weeks, that's brutal. When you've got Buffalo, that's brutal. But they could jump out to a pretty good start with Vegas, Washington, Chicago in that first month. And then later on, you've got Houston, Patriots. You bookend the season with Vegas. There are enough wins, and we know how challenging it is to go to Mile High and play. So I like the Broncos over.
Yeah, I like it too, because even that tough stretch, that first half of the season, even if they split or grab a couple more that you're not expecting, and Russ can turn back the clock a bit, and with this new regime, I like that. I think over 8.5 is a good look. Because the public must be thinking, oh, fade Russ, like they're not gonna be able to turn this around. That's why the under is juiced, I guess. Because I'd be looking at the over here.
Well, what was it that the Saints went over their win total the last several years when Sean Payton was at the helm? When so many were coming out and saying Drew Brees is washed and the Saints don't have enough playmakers and the division's getting really tough, etc. No, I mean, the Saints were a constant over win total for a good stretch, and they were constantly making the playoffs. Definitely the track record is there. I think the other thing too, and I think it was Nate Tice or someone out that direction was saying that one of the things that Sean Payton loves to do is have each receiver have a specific job. So you say, all right, this is my deep threat. This is my slant threat. This is my, out route threat, whatever it is. And I think simplifying this offense is going to help everybody. I'm not sure I want to go so far as to take the over win total here, because that schedule is rough within the division, especially going up against the Chargers twice. But I do think simplifying this offense is going to help tremendously, to where even if you don't see the dividends now, you will see them by year 2. They will be really exciting once everyone's comfortable with Sean
Payton. I'm with you. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I don't know that they can make the playoffs, and the number isn't juicy enough for me at 2-1 in that conference. It's just no. But I do like that over bet at plus money as far as the win total, because they don't need to make the playoffs. What about you guys? Give me another team. Upgrades. What are we doing?
Well, I can jump in with the Bears because that will be a fun one for me. And I know that DJ Moore is earning the spotlight here because he was part of the massive trade for the Bears to trade down in the NFL draft so Carolina could go number 1 overall. But the receiver I'm eyeballing now will have a full season with the Bears, and that's Chase Claypool. He is a deep threat. Go back to 2021. He had 9 catches of 20-plus air yards with Ben Roethlisberger as his quarterback. I will be looking for Fields props in terms of him finishing with over passing yards, and I will be looking for Claypool in terms of receiving yards if I can find something nice, but those are going to be the two guys I look for as far as how to bet on the Bears, because I feel like this passing attack is going to be significantly better. Also, Fields is playing a lot more play action in 2022 than he was in his rookie year. Now that he's got another season to get comfortable with that, I feel like the playmakers that the Bears have will put them in a much better position, and those individual prop totals are what I'm looking at, Joe.
One of the 5 easiest schedules in the NFL as well. Last year, Mooney was their one. He's going to be their slot guy this year. Yeah, there are a ton of upgrades. Now, the defense was completely shredded with trades for other reasons late last year as they were in tank mode trying to get the number 1 pick, which they eventually landed and, of course, traded. We all know that. They're trying to rebuild that defense. They're trying to they think the linebackers via free agency with TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds. But let's not forget that number 1 pick, 9th overall. They think they got the best tackle in the draft in Darnell Wright, something else that's going to help Fields. You mentioned receivers. And a lot of people have written off Claypool. They're saying bust. I'm not ready to go that far. He has not had an offseason with this quarterback in this offense yet. So I think he can go back to what he was. Now, draft night, sure. I wanted that first pick in the second round that was traded away. But, they think there's something there. And more Claypool and Mooney in the division that Rodgers just left and Vikings regression. You look at the schedule like, okay, there are a couple of challenging spots. A couple. But outside of that, that's why this number 7.5 juiced a little bit to the over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the Bears too. I mean, they added
yeah.
so many pieces with Nate Davis. Defensively, you've got to expect more improvement from Justin Fields. So I loved that one as well. So there's a few that I looked at and wasn't totally sold on. Like, where are we at with the Panthers at 7.5? Like, they got Bryce Young. They've got Andy Dalton to be a mentor. 7.5 is a lot. Running back Miles Sanders. They lost DJ Moore. Talked a lot about him, so that's going to be tough. And then the other
doesn't the number feel high from what we saw from them last year? We know about the upgrades, but isn't that?
I think it'll be sweaty, or if not a under, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a trash division. That's the thing.
And it's asking a lot of a rookie quarterback.
Right. It is. And typically rookie quarterbacks either don't start week 1 or they have really rough starts to their careers. And it's not until year 2 when you actually see that return on investment. I like the under on the Panthers.
Who's their best receiver? Where's he throwing it? DJ Chark or Adam Thielen? Like, that's what you have without DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
So another team that I love really quick, just overall, is the Jags, but they do have kind of a tough schedule. And I don't know what's going on with their stadium. They're renovating it. Like, are they going to have to play their home games somewhere else? Like, what kind of impact will that have? And then we also don't know what we're getting from Calvin Ridley. Hopefully he's, what we saw before, and it's a big improvement, but you're also in a really tough conference with some good teams and some great quarterbacks. So 9.5, I do think it's doable with the win total, but I think it could be tight.
Do you guys see what BetMGM did?
What?
With the Jags? They put it at 10.5.
Oh, they did?
Oh, no.
Ooh,
everywhere else is 9.5.
Under.
Juice to the over, but they have
9.5
to the under.
I think 9.5 is going to be tough.